Hi everyone. I wasn't planning on making a video, but here we are. So it seems my last video about feminism ruffled some feathers, and this is my response, which is basically more more of what I have to say. First and foremost, I've always said in all my videos, like, if you are someone who only likes people who agree with you and can only follow people who think like them and agree with them, my page is not the one for you. I am not that person. Me personally, I can love, respect, care for someone even if I don't agree with them. That's not a big deal to me, but the same is not true for a lot of people. So if that's you, you can go ahead and unsubscribe. And I'm sure there's people watching this who aren't subscribed, but you know, it's not gonna hurt my feelings. I don't live my life to please other people, and I also don't care to hold an opinion that's unpopular. I'm not afraid to have an unpopular opinion. Some of y'all might not like it. That's okay. I still love and respect you as a person. I can be friends with people who don't agree with me. You know, it's not the end of the world. But anyways, I wanted to reiterate something. I think it's so funny. Well, it's not really funny, but it's ironic how I feel like the minute you say something that pisses off someone who's a quote-unquote feminist, how they love to attack you and degrade you. What happened to supporting all women? What happened to believing all women? Oh, you mean only women who agree with you. Only women who have the same beliefs as you. Only women that you feel like you can get I don't know. Whatever. But it's like you have very limited toleration, actually, and you truly only support women if they believe the same things you believe, which means you don't really support women. You support people who believe what you believe. Anyways, my whole point is that I'm not a feminist. Me not being a feminist does not mean I don't care about or support women's rights, right? Like, just because I don't call myself a feminist doesn't mean I don't care about women or I think less of women or I think, you know, like, I still support women having the things they have. I just don't support the feminist movement. And I'm like, why can't, it's like, am I not allowed to not be a feminist or something? It's kind of, I don't know. It just becomes like this whole group think type of thing where I'm just like, it's almost like if you say you don't, like, I don't support a lot of the ideologies within the feminist movement, which is why I don't consider myself a feminist, but it doesn't mean I don't support women's issues or women's rights or things that I personally think are negatively impact women. Like, I still, of course, love and care for women. I am a woman. I'm proud to be a woman. I'm not ashamed of being a woman. And personally, I think I'm probably the more confident type of woman than most people. And I'm very strong in my femininity because I don't think less of myself for being a woman. And that, I feel like, is what I was really trying to say. I feel like in order to be a feminist, you almost have to believe you're less than men. And I don't believe I'm less than a man, which is why I feel like I don't need to be a feminist. I personally don't see myself as being less than another person. I don't think of women as being less than other men, right? So if my mentality is that, I think I'm perfectly equal to men. I don't think I'm less than. I think women face problems men don't. Men face problems women don't, you know? It's like, just because I have a mindset that differs from wanting to be I don't know. Like, I just don't see all of my problems as being like I need feminism in order to have rights, type. I don't know how else to explain it. But basically, I don't think I'm less than a man. I don't think I'm less than a woman. I don't think I'm less than anyone, right? So I don't have this viewpoint that I am a victim because I'm a woman. That doesn't mean that women don't have problems, right? It doesn't mean that I don't believe, sexual assault, domestic violence. Like, that doesn't mean I just ignore all of these issues, sex trafficking. There's all of these horrible issues, but I feel like people have to remember that these issues are not just issues for women. They do a majority of them affect women, but they don't only. Sex trafficking affects kids of both genders, right? Of both sexes. To be like it's only a problem for women and that's why you have to be a feminist. It's like, no. I personally don't break down issues based off of, oh, this is an issue only for women. I'm like, if it's an issue, it's an issue. It doesn't matter if it's for women, for men, for children, for whatever, right? What's wrong is wrong. What's right is right. Obviously, I don't think women deserve to be sexually assaulted. I don't think women deserve to be domestically abused. Like, those are horrible things. Like, I am not someone who's like going to be like, oh yeah, this woman deserved to be beat up by her spouse. Obviously not. Like, it's almost like people assume you can't be a decent human being unless you follow whatever ideologies they believe are morally acceptable. But I'm basically just stating, like, my morals are not based off of specific ideologies. I have morals based off of what I know to be right, what I know to be right. And personally, it's just based off of the Bible. I don't like putting other labels on myself, which is why I'm not politically labeling myself. I don't consider myself a feminist. I'm not, also don't make a lot of my opinions about just my race, like being a Black woman as being like the most important thing about me. Does that mean I'm like ashamed of them? I'm not ashamed that I'm Black. I'm not ashamed that I'm a woman. It's just not the things, like, I don't like the identity politics, right? Of a lot of those things where it's like you have to find your identity in being a woman, and you have to find your identity in being Black, or you have to find your identity in whatever ideology you choose. I really make my identity is really just not rooted in those I guess phenotypic traits. I don't know. But there is nothing that I feel like wrong with not being a feminist. Like, women don't have to be a feminist. I'm sorry. I can still love and support the things that the problems that affect women without being a feminist. It's just like people think like you have to label yourself somewhere. You are not a good person, or you don't agree with this set of ideologies, so you must like they assume your morals and beliefs based off of these labels, essentially. And I'm just like, okay, you can assume that about me, but that's not actually what I said. I said I don't claim to be a feminist because I don't support a lot of feminist ideologies, and I specifically stated the idea of patriarchy, essentially, like men rule the world. And I said this in another video. I think one of the biggest problems that I see within the feminist movement nowadays is that it's a lot of women comparing themselves to what men have, and they're seeking what they see what men have as being better. Like, this is where I said, like, the mentality of a feminist is like, you see men as being better than you, and that's why you think you're less as a woman. I don't look at men like men are the greatest thing on the planet. I don't know how else to explain it. Some men are really dumb, if I'm being quite honest. Some men are actually dumb. And I say that in the nicest way. Like, at the end of the day, men and women are different. That's okay. I also think, too, it's just like, if you're a woman who's always comparing yourself to men, you're always looking at what men have, what are men doing? Men have all these positions of power. It's just like you're making your entire focus what men are doing in order to say women aren't as good as men. Because you're saying, oh, well, men have all these things that women don't have, so therefore, it's just like you only feel that way if you put men on a pedestal to begin with. I don't do that. A man being a president doesn't mean women aren't powerful. A man being in Congress doesn't mean women aren't as important. It's just like your mindset is really, it all comes down to your mindset, your perspective on things. I don't have that perspective. That's all I'm saying. I do not think that a man being in a position of power or being a CEO means that they are better than women. I don't look at being a CEO as being like this huge, important, most important thing that you can achieve. It's like when you see, it's like you're basically, you're asserting that being a CEO is more important than being a nurse. And then because women are mostly nurses and men make up the majority of CEOs, it doesn't mean men can't be nurses. It doesn't mean women can't be CEOs. But you're looking at it as like, because there's majority men that are CEOs, therefore women aren't equal. We need more women as CEOs. But who said being CEOs is more important than being a nurse? Like, who said that? You said that. I didn't say that. If you think being a CEO is more important than being a nurse, that's your mindset. That's your perspective. It all comes down to how you perceive the world around you. Personally, I think nurses do a lot more to help the world than being a CEO of a company. I think mothers who raise children do a lot more than, running a business. It's just like how you see things or how you interpret things is up to you. But if you think being a CEO or running a business makes you a stronger, better woman, that's your perception, right? But that doesn't mean that's actually the truth. And like I said, I think a lot of the problems that feminists think are problems all stem from them being focused on what men have and claiming whatever men have, women have to have too. It's like they're so focused on men, they don't see the value in the things that women do every day. And personally, I think women are amazing. I think women are strong, women are powerful, women are intelligent, women have accomplished so many great things in this world. You don't have to do what men do in order to have a powerful story, in order to be strong, in order to be all of these things. And because I stated, I don't freaking feel like I have to be a feminist to support women, I get hated on. Or someone called me a pick-me. Someone called me all of these things. I'm just like, the way y'all attack other women for having a difference of opinions is wild, but that says more about those people than it does about me. Like I said, I still support women. I just am not a feminist. And that's all I'm going to say. I think that's all I need to say. Like, my perspective, my mindset is just not, I need to have what men have, or the things that men do are somehow more important than the things that women do. I think women can do things men can't. Men can do things that women can't. That's okay. Equal value, different jobs, different roles. Like, if you don't think, it honestly feels like you don't think you're good enough as a woman, and that's why you feel like you need feminism. You don't see the power, you don't see your strength, you don't see your capabilities as a woman, and that's why you feel like you need feminism in order to achieve things. I don't see that myself as being limited. I don't see myself as being weak. I don't see myself as being, and I'm not saying being a feminist means you do. I'm just saying, like, that is essentially what they are teaching, is that as a woman, you have less than what men have. As a woman, you make less. As a woman, you don't get the same things that men do. And that's all they are focused on, is what men do. And feeling like, well, because men do this, women have to do it too. Like I said it in like another video, it really is like, from a spiritual perspective, I'm just taking this as a Christian, the feminist movement is rooted in a Jezebel spirit, which is seeking power over men. Now, I got that from Honestly, read the Bible. But feminist movement is rooted in a Jezebel spirit, and these women seek power over men. They seek authority. They seek control. You know, that is what the feminist movement is rooted in from a spiritual perspective. So as a Christian, seeing that, observing that, understanding that is another reason why I feel like I don't support the feminist movement. But again, that's the spiritual side of things, which for people who aren't Christians, maybe that's not going to help you understand what I'm saying. If you understand the story of Jezebel and what she did, you know, it's literally just seeking to have power. It's like you're hungry for power. You're hungry for control. And I don't care about, I don't know how else to say it. I don't think I have to be a CEO or run multiple businesses to have value as a woman. I think you can have value as a woman just being a mother. You can have value being a CEO. Like, no one is stopping you as a woman from starting your own company or being a CEO or girl bossing, whatever. It's just like, if your main focus is, I have to have what men have and I have to do what men have in order for me to be important as a woman, I feel like that is a perspective that I just don't have. I don't think there's anything wrong, but I'm with wanting to be a CEO or wanting to, whatever it is your goals are, you know, those fields that are mainly men centered, like construction jobs, you know, no one's stopping a woman from working in construction, right? But these are hard, physically labor challenging jobs, and there's biological reasons why women don't probably want to work in those fields. But if a woman wanted to, she certainly could, right? There's nothing stopping a woman from doing those things. But I feel like it's more like the mindset that unless you're doing or accomplishing the things men have, it's like seeing what men have and thinking because you don't have that as a woman that you're somehow not as important, I feel like is a mindset you have to be a feminist. And I just don't care. I'm not comparing myself to men constantly and thinking I'm less than a man because men have all this control and men have all of these things. Like, I'm not seeing myself as being less than. Personally, I don't care to be in a position of power over men. Personally, that's just me. I don't care about it. It's not this most important thing to me. Does that mean I don't have a voice? Does it mean I don't matter? Of course not. It's just not my main focus, or it's just not personally a huge concern for me. Now, there are women who want to be, you know, in political power, and there are women who want those things. And I understand like feeling like if someone wants those things, they don't feel like they can get it. But at the same time, I'm just like, there's nothing stopping women from getting those things. I mean, at the end of the day, Kamala Harris was still on the ballot to be president. You know, she wasn't banned from running for president because she was a woman. She just didn't win. That sounds so bad. And there's people saying she couldn't win because she's black and because she's a woman, and those are the reasons that she didn't win. But again, I think that just comes down to wanting identity politics to be a thing. My friend's calling me, so I will talk to you guys later. That's all.